Classic old movies adapted into TV dramas are banned by the Hong Kong authorities due to their explicit content. Even the copies have been completely destroyed. Although there are repaired versions available in the market, they are all edited versions. The complete version is now extinct. Today, I will share with you a controversial and rarely seen film called Snake's Dependence that 99% of people have never watched. The scorching pig fat leaves bright red marks on the fair and tender skin of women, causing their bodies to tremble uncontrollably due to intense pain. She is like a snake that has been skinned, with her limbs tightly bound to a chair, subject to bullying. However, after the man who tormented her had enough fun, he sent her to his subordinates to take turns humiliating her. In Hong Kong, women like her are called snake people, and the men who humiliate her are snake catchers who specialize in capturing snake people. In the 1980s, Hong Kong's economy developed rapidly and became one of the world's top 3 financial centers. The dazzling Oriental Pearl attracted a large number of illegal immigrants. At that time, communication technology was lagging behind. Many mainlanders exaggeratedly believed that Hong Kong was full of gold and that they could get rich just by going there. As a result, many people tried various ways to sneak into Hong Kong. Local Hong Kong people referred to these illegal immigrants as snakeheads, meaning people who curled up like snakes and hid in the decks to sneak into Hong Kong. In 1980, due to the increasing number of illegal immigrants, Hong Kong implemented a policy of urgently repatriating and returning them to their original places. As for those who have no relatives and no reason in Hong Kong, the end is the most tragic. Women are raped by snake beaters and sold to red light districts. When they are raped enough, men are thrown into the sea to fend for themselves. Even if the end of the smugglers is so tragic, money still attracts countless people to lurk in the subsequent smuggling. Kwan, her husband Dong, and her younger brother De Zhong embarked on a dangerous journey to Hong Kong with dreams of getting rich. They heard that there is a diamond mountain in Hong Kong, where the ground is covered with diamonds. Their only goal for this trip was to find Diamond Mountain and fulfill their dreams of getting rich. However, as soon as they set foot on the land of Hong Kong, they were surrounded and captured by the police. In the darkness, the sound of police batons hitting flesh was mixed with screams, creating a chaotic scene. 3 people hid in the dark and luckily escaped. But they didn't know that besides the police, there were snake catchers lurking everywhere in Hong Kong, waiting for an opportunity to strike. They hadn't gone far when the cunning snake catcher captured them. Fortunately, Kwan had an uncle in Hong Kong. The snake catcher called and extorted 5,000 Hong Kong dollars from the uncle, which amounted to 15,000 for the 3 of them. The uncle's life was not affluent, but he managed to scrape together $10,000. It wasn't enough, so the snake catcher only agreed to release 2 of them. Little brother De Zhong took the initiative to let his sister and brother-in-law leave. He then took the opportunity to escape while the snake catcher was not paying attention. However, Kwan and Dong's couple had not gone far at that time, so they were caught and brought back by the snake catcher. In the end, only one person's freedom was exchanged for 10,000 yuan. The snake-catching groups prey on each other, and another group of snake catchers is ruthless. Later he also came to fight for the tongue belt and brought people. De Zhong took advantage of the chaos between the 2 groups and quietly slid open a big hole on the roof to rescue Kwan and Dong. The 3 of them left cautiously, but accidentally stepped on the sliding stones, and the sound attracted the attention of the horseboy, and in an emergency, the 3 soldiers divided into 2 ways and fled separately, and the big seed fled alone to the uninhabited wilderness, while Kwan and Dong ran in the other direction, but the big seed didn't go far, and he fell to the ground in pain with his legs, and the grass was full of 3 groups of snake beaters. The fat snake's beast armor. The big seed just escaped from the wolf country and entered the bone cave and was taken away by the crazy fat boy like a beast. Kwan and Dong, the couple, also couldn't escape misfortune. They hid in a bush and were soon discovered by the fierce horsemen. The 2 of them ran away, but were caught and beaten by the horsemen. Before leaving, the horsemen noticed that there were many people captured by Fei Zai's gang and decided to go back and discuss with their leader, He, to prepare for another abduction. When Kwan and Dong were brought back to the camp, the cruel and perverted He was torturing a beautiful woman. Hot chili oil dripped onto the woman's naked skin, causing Kwan and Dong to shudder in horror at her screams. 2 people were locked in a cow sheet. Inside, there was a bearded, crazy man with blue and green clothes. When the man saw the delicate Kwan, without saying a word, he smeared the stinky cow dung on him. Kwan and Dong, confused, hurriedly tried to stop him. When the horseman threw the vaguely pitiful woman in, the 2 finally understood that the man was trying to prevent Kwan from being defiled as well. Finally, clean. Finally, clean. Just like him. Those cow dung on them, the more filthy they are, the less they dare to touch you. But the crazy man underestimated the perversion of this group of people. Even if Kwan is covered in cow dung, he is still humiliated by the extremely lascivious thugs in front of Dong. The couple is like falling into hell. They never expected to encounter such a terrible thing on their first day in Hong Kong. After the thugs discovered it, Dong tenderly put clothes on Aki. The couple couldn't speak in anger. Seeing this, the madman sighed and closed his face unbearably. The madman claimed that the poisonous snake was also caught by the snake beater. This is his 7th smuggling, and 2 of the first 6 times were caught by the police and repatriated. 4 times fell into the hands of the snake beater. This is the last time. He has a triumphant heart to take root in Hong Kong. The reason why Poison Snake is so confident is because he stole a hand grenade from the militia. The high group dare not easily provoke him, allowing him to live in the cowshed with food and drink for 4 months. During these 4 months, Poison Snake tried to become more like a local by growing long hair and a beard, learning the local customs and manners, and reading newspapers to understand various aspects of Hong Kong's news. He plans to leave here when the time is right and go to the core area of Tsim Sha Tsui in Hong Kong. After hearing the magnificent plan of Du Shi, Quan and Dong were deeply moved. In order to get rich, they endured a lot of suffering along the way. No matter what, they were determined to take a look at Diamond Mountain before they would be satisfied. So the two of them decided to seize the opportunity and go with Du Shi. At this time, he ordered his men to attack Fei Zai's headquarters in order to seize the human trafficking victims. They launched a surprise attack from behind, quickly dealing with Fei Zai's gang, and took all 26 human trafficking victims from Fei Zai. The people locked up in the tent were too scared to go out, and the horse boy smashed the crowd with a big stick, knocked them all unconscious, chained them one by one, like cattle, and brought everyone back to the cowshed. The big seed was also among them, and the three finally met again, but the situation was even more difficult. The methods of Hai's gang were extremely vicious, and some people wanted to escape. They actually beat people to death in public, and hung bloody corpses upside down at the door to get away with it. The crowd was terrified by the brutal killings, their legs trembling in fear. They dared to not have any thoughts of resistance anymore. However, in order to prevent anyone from escaping, Hai actually stripped dozens of men and women naked. For a while, the sounds of the killers' scolding and mocking laughter, as well as the helpless cries and screams of life, echoed in their ears. A strong-willed girl, unwilling to be locked up like a dog and stripped naked, bravely hid herself in the barbed wire despite the pain. Hai was infuriated and crazily poured gasoline on the girl, igniting her alive. The girl stared with her eyes wide open and quickly pounced on the harmful thug as the flames erupted, but her strength as a weak woman was too small. After a scream, she quickly lost her breath. Then, Hai used various tortures to extort money from the human snakes and forced everyone to reveal the contact information of their relatives in Hong Kong. The poor women were cruelly condemned again, the men were severely beaten with the torture rod, and the three of them originally had the phone number of their uncle, but none of them remembered the number, and the note with the number on it had long been lost on the way to escape, so all three were tortured. Quan was brutally abused by all kinds of cruel abuse, and he couldn't stop kneeling and begging for mercy. As long as he let him go, he was willing to do anything. He Wen smiled, half lying on the main chair, let him kneel naked on the ground to serve himself. In order to save his life, Quan could only trample his self-esteem, endure the humiliation, and wear a mask. However, Dong, Quan's husband, was not so lucky. He was interrogated by Mr. He and beaten severely, unable to provide any useful information. Under this inhumane torture, soon a fragile woman couldn't bear the suffering and went crazy. Then, Mr. He ordered his men to clean up those women who had no relatives in Hong Kong and couldn't make any profit, using high-pressure water hoses, and then put heavy makeup on them, selling them at a low price to the bosses in the red light district. The rows of women were like goods sold to the flower street under Mr. He's bargaining. And the use value of Quan and others were continued to stay and torture until they remembered the contact information of their relatives, and the public complained a little about his sister and brother-in-law, who had long proposed to write down his uncle's number, otherwise he would not have suffered this problem now. What a decaying person. I have long said that the phone should be remembered. You don't believe it, you, even if there is any way, I can't help it. After the casual complaint from the indifferent public was heard by the sneaky man next to him, he had a malicious idea. In order to please the snake man and gain the opportunity to enter the city, he secretly told the horseman that the public remembered the phone number of a loved one but pretended to be crazy and refused to say it. When Mr. He knew about this, he was furious. Seeing that the public was handsome and charming, he smiled wickedly and signaled the horseman to take the person to his room. Originally, the passionate public, under the dual torment of physical and mental suffering, couldn't help but let out a heart-wrenching scream. When he was carried back to the cowshed, he almost lost most of his life, and under this heart-wrenching humiliation, the public lost hope of life. Suddenly he fought back, desperately pounced on He. Ignoring the beating of the horseboy, Xing Sheng used his teeth to bite out a blood hole in the neck of He. The evil He was killed. The public was also beaten to death by the horseboy, and the poisonous snake witnessed the horrific scene and decided not to Tao Guang and raise obscurity. He taught the informant who killed the public a lesson, advocating everyone to unite to deal with bullies. At this time, Lord He has already died. With no leader, the crowd is in chaos. It is the perfect time to take action. After discussing the plan, the poison snake releases a skinny little boy from the window and has him unlock the iron chains on the cowshed. Then, under the cover of night, everyone sets fire to the cowshed and sets up traps at the entrance. They catch all the rescuers who come out in one fell swoop. The accumulated anger and grievances of the people explode at this moment. They fiercely swing wooden sticks and sharp shovels at these scum. After the bitter revenge, the crowd cut the horse's hair short and dressed up as smugglers, intending to use their local identities to hide their eyes and ears, evade the police's investigation. I thought everything was safe. Everyone also relaxed their vigilance, but they didn't expect that there was a fish caught in the shadows. The little boy was strangled to death by Brother Chiu when everyone found out, and Quan buried his brother and little boy outside the house sadly in order to prevent everyone from revealing their identities in front of the police. They were teaching them the songs that Hong Kong locals like to sing and all kinds of common knowledge about Hong Kong life, and just as they were about to leave, there was the roar of a motorcycle at the door. It was the fat boy who had been hit by Tsuruno not long ago, and he came to the door to take revenge, and the Viper did not want to delay any more time and solved a group of people with the bomb in his hand. And then everyone drove out of the demon cave that had tormented them for many days, and drove towards the city of Hong Kong, and the sky finally dawned. Everyone showed a long-lost smile, singing the song of getting rich all the way, heading towards the dreamland in their hearts. However, at the checkpoint when entering the city, they encountered a police inspection. The cunning snake confidently threw the three henchmen in the car down to divert the police's attention. But Adong's nervous and timid appearance aroused the suspicion of the police. In the end, everyone's identities were exposed, except for Aquan and Adong, the married couple. The rest, including Snake, were all caught by the police. The police had advanced equipment and even deployed helicopters for patrolling to catch illegal immigrants. Aquan and Adong had nowhere to hide under the watchful eyes of the police. Aquan, exhausted from all that he had been through, briefly surveyed the area and saw his husband anxiously waving at him. He made the decision to surrender himself voluntarily in order to buy time for Adong. The police officers who were trying to capture Aquan were moved by his self-sacrifice. Although they knew there was still one more person hiding, they hesitated and ultimately let Adong go. After enduring countless hardships, Adong finally arrived at Diamond Mountain, only to find that it was not the legendary land filled with diamonds. Diamond Mountain was merely a place name. Looking at the shantytown in front of him, Adong was disillusioned. What he had exchanged with blood and almost half of his life turned out to be just a joke. You didn't even go to eat, 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 you didn't even go to eat. The illegal immigrants in the 1980s may be even more miserable than in the movies. Immigration must choose the legal channels. We are an immigration service organization originating from Canada, with headquarters located in Vancouver, known for its green environment. Since its establishment in 1983, we have been helping tens of thousands of investors, white-collar workers, overseas students, and various skilled professionals from all over the world to successfully obtain Canadian status and settle in Canada. After 40 years of vigorous development, we have established direct subsidiaries in major provinces and cities across Canada, and our China headquarters is located in Beijing. Over the past decade, we have gradually developed into the highest-end Canadian immigration leading brand in China. The businesses we handle include employer-sponsored immigration, entrepreneur immigration, federal self-employed immigration, skilled and study immigration, etc., and provide customers with comprehensive settlement services for free. Welcome to scan the QR code below. Senior immigration experts and immigration lawyers will provide you with free planning for your immigration journey, escorting your immigration journey. Snake is a very shocking and controversial movie. Although it comes from decades ago, the long time does not mean conservatism. On the contrary, the movies from that era were bolder and more open-minded than now, with explicit and violent scenes, bloodshed, homosexuality, and psychological abnormalities. They completely shattered the dignity of human nature, pushing the boundaries of the animalistic side of human nature. The cruel methods of snake abuse in the film are horrifying. Due to the film openly promoting pornography, violence, and pure animalistic release of the darkest and most brutal side of human nature, the film has never had the opportunity to be released. On March 18, 2005, the Schauscher Company had repeatedly repaired the film, but shortly after its release, it was recalled and destroyed one after another. The plan to release the digital video disc had to be officially declared a failure. Director Mao Dun-fei is the director with the strongest taste for Chinese-language films, without a doubt, hailed as the father of Hong Kong cinema. His famous Black Sun series is a childhood nightmare for many people. The film style is characterized by bloody brutality, madness, and bizarre civilization. When shooting, snake beating, many female actors are real illegal immigrants to enhance the realism. Various props are real guns and live ammunition. Whether snake beating is a perverted entertainment or a true reflection of the tragic fate of illegal immigrants coming to Hong Kong has always been a controversial focus. The theme of this film may be profound, but for the sake of entertainment, the exaggerated portrayal of extreme violence and the protagonist to a large extent dilute the seriousness of the theme, resulting in polarized reviews of the film. For the friends who have low psychological tolerance, I do not recommend watching the original film. Today's movie is shared here. See you next time.